Hi guys, Dinner Lady here. Right, so it's my turn to cook tonight, so it's going to be a nice, quick, another midweek meal. And I'm going to be doing some cod, prawns with chorizo and a nice smoky tomato sauce. So I'll bring you down and I'll show you the ingredients. Right, so the first thing I've got is some wild caught cod fillets, and them are from Lidl's. Ignore the date, I did put it in the freezer as soon as we got them on Saturday and took them out yesterday. Got some king prawns, again they were frozen, bought them frozen. Just let them defrost in the fridge overnight with the cod. We do have some Spanish chorizo. Now we do like the spicy one, but it's up to you if you just want to have ordinary chorizo or just not put it in at all if it's something that you really wouldn't like. I have a tin of peeled plum tomatoes, a tin of cannellini beans. I've got one onion. I'm going to put a little bit of extra smoked, just ordinary paprika, not smoked paprika, and some parsley. So it's going to be like a stew type thing, this. And in there we've got some cooked cabbage, which Ian cooked yesterday. So what we're going to do is a nod back to our keto days, is we're going to have some buttered cabbage to go with the stew. And obviously my salt and my pepper and a little bit of oil. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get the cod out of the packet and I'm going to salt it for the next hour because it's still just me break at work. I don't finish till 6. But if you salt it, it takes out all the excess water, because as you can see in these ones you get from the supermarket, they are in water. So we'll need to draw that out so the fish is firmer for when you cook it. So if you want to come along and I'll get this sorted. Right, so I'm just going to get some kitchen roll ready before I start opening the pack. I'm going to dab off the excess first, and then we'll get on to salting it. So do just get this. Sorry about that noise, it's horrible, isn't it? So as you can see, there's all that water that it has been sitting in. So we do need to get rid of most of that. So I'm just going to get this out into here. Oh, two different sizes now, aren't they? And a little bit of kitchen roll just to dab on the top. That'll get off the excess, but we'll want to draw some out of the actual fish itself. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use plain table salt, put that on the bottom. We will be washing this off before we use it, so don't worry about it being too salty. And a little bit on the top. So I'm just going to cover that and leave that for about another hour. And then we can get on with doing the actual dish. Right, so I've left that for a couple of hours now, and you can see there's not a lot of water come out of it, but there has been a little bit, and I've prepped the prawns as well. So I'm just going to I'm going to rinse that out in a second, but what I want to do first is get on with the onions and the chorizo. So this is a new one, as you can see. And I'm going to use about, I'd say, a third of this. And I'm just going to chop it in half here, because I want the oils to come out of this. And that'll help cook the onion and that as well. I think my knife could do with a bit of sharpening. Yeah, I think that's probably going to be more than enough. Excuse me. Right. So, I'm just going to bring these over a second, this pan. It's the cast iron, it's the shallow one though, and I'm just going to bring that up to temperature. I'm going to put a little bit of oil in there and the chorizo, and I'm going to get on with cutting the onion up. So we'll come back across a second. That's already cooked, so I know I've got it on my green board, which has got vegetables, but that's already cooked. It's not raw chorizo, it's cooked chorizo. And as I only have to chop up an onion and they're going to get cooked together, I don't really mind. I'm just going to get rid of the papery skin. I mean, you can add garlic or whatever you want to this, but to be honest, I like it just the way that it is. I'm just going to move that to one side. This is not a recipe that I found anywhere. This is just me putting stuff together that we both like. So just a matter of cutting this up. I'm just going to get that chorizo in there just to start it off. Oh, that's a strong onion. Don't normally get, my eyes don't normally get it that much. Oh, made a hash of that, but just do that. There we go. I'm going to get rid of the peelings from the onion, pop that back in the fridge, and I'll come back to yours. Right, so I've put about 2 teaspoons of oil in here, and I just want to wait until I can start seeing some of the colour starting to come out. You can see it a little bit here out of the chorizo, some of that paprika colour, and then we'll add our onions. Go. Just starting to come out now. You'll be able to see once I put the onions in as well. Better than this because it is an old pan, this. Yeah, you can see it on the onions now. This I'm going to turn, it's right, turned right down. It's on the big flame, but it is turned right down here. Right, so all I'm going to do is I'm going to let that sweat down until these are all nice and soft. And we have all of that paprika taste in with the onions. So we'll see in a bit. Right, so that's been just over 5 minutes. Now I did read once, and I don't know how true it is, that they said if you start to fry your onions off, always do them until they're soft. Because once you put the liquid in, it stops softening the onions. Don't know whether it was just a myth or whatever, but I've always done that since then. So what I want to do now is I want to put in, take the lid off, about a teaspoon of paprika, just to enhance that paprika taste. I don't want to overpower the fish, but we do want that taste in there. I'll just put that round in the oils just for a second, and then I'm going to put in the tin of tomatoes. They will break down, as you know, and I'm going to just fill that with some water out the kettle. Also gets all the gubbins off the bottom of the out of the can as well. So I'm going to just turn the heat up because I want this to come up to the boil. I've got the tin of cannellini beans, which I've drained a little bit, but not fully. Oops, because that starchy bit at the bottom of the can, which I'll get so many out. You see all that starchy bit at the bottom? That has got no flavour, but it will thicken this up lovely. It's a bit like, you know, when you put the pasta water in, that's got that bit of starch. I'm just going to break these down. They will break down once it comes up to a boil anyway. So I'm just going to bring that up to the boil and I'm going to let that simmer for about 10 minutes. And then we'll have a look at it and it'll be time to put the fish in. Actually, no, tell a lie. We need to season this first because we're not going to be seasoning the fish, guys. So I'm going to put a teaspoon of pepper. Well, smaller than a teaspoon that. And the same with some salt, maybe it's just a tad more. And I am, as a tip off a viewer as well, is to put a little sprinkle of sugar in there just for the tartness from the tomatoes. So, thank you for that. Can't remember your name, I'm so sorry. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to let that bubble away. These will, as soon as they're warm, they will crush down. And then we'll come back in about 10 minutes. And we'll see you then. Right, so that's been going for just over 10 minutes now. And as you can see, it has thickened right up. It has reduced a little bit. And also the starch coming off the beans, that's thickened it right up. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get the prawns in. There's quite a few prawns there, but they are one of my favourite foods, and if I don't eat it tonight, I will eat it tomorrow. So I'm just going to stir those in. I've got this pan warming up here for the buttered cabbage. So what I want to do is I'm just going to get them in there like that. And then I'm going to lay the fish. Just snuggle it in there. This will only take about 5 minutes. And that's about the time that it takes for the buttered cabbage to do. I'm just going to pop the lid on that so the fish steams. And I'll just bring you across and we'll have a look at the buttered cabbage. Right, so like I say, Ian cooked the cabbage last night. It was a full cabbage, it needed using up. We had half of that last night and we're going to have the other half today with our fish, our prawns and the chorizo. Just going to turn that up slightly. Just a knob of butter in there. If you haven't tried cabbage like this, I really would. It is delicious. So that's melted. Just going to put the cooked cabbage in there. Oh, spilled it everywhere. So in the 5 minutes that the fish and the prawns need, that's all it takes. Once your cabbage is cooked, just boil it until it's soft and then just do this with the butter. Makes a big difference. Like I say, when we were doing keto, obviously this isn't keto because it's got beans in, but we would use this instead of mash, instead of rice, pasta. Right, so I'm just going to keep going with this and then I'll probably come back to you in about 3 minutes and it'll all be ready. Right, so the cabbage is warming through in that butter. I'm just going to check the fish and the prawns. Look amazing. I think they might need a little bit longer because I turned it right down. Yeah, that's another 3-4 minutes and then that'll be all ready. So we'll come back to you then. Right, so that's had an extra couple of minutes and as you can see it's just starting to flake. That's when you know that it's cooked and it's not overcooked. The prawns are all cooked, so the buttered cabbage is nice and warm. So I'm going to put this in a bowl and we're going to have taste testing time. Right, so that's all done. I'm just going to put a little bit of parsley just over the top. And that is my cod, prawns and chorizo on buttered cabbage. I'm just going to get it all out now. Get some buttered cabbage on the plate. Put that over there. I'm going to do Ian's for now. Like I say, we used to, when we were doing keto, we used to do this as an alternative to mash, rice.
And cauliflower rice.
Yeah, and cauliflower rice as well, yes.
Which is really nice.
So, get that on the plate there. And then this lovely, look, it's just flaking. Honestly, if you could just smell. I know a lot of you guys aren't that keen on fish, but I think if you could actually just cook it until it's just done with a few flavours like this, I'm sure you would be more than happy to try it. It's still hot, so I'm just going to get that to one side. Do mine shortly. Get rid of the hot board. And there we go. Cod, prawns, chorizo in a tomato sauce with some buttered cabbage. So now it's taste testing time.
Right, taste testing time. Let's go. Haha.
There we go.
Right, so I'm just going to have a little dabble with this fish. Just going to show you, look at that, just flakes away. Nice bit of cod, isn't it?
Yeah.
Lovely. Have a go with that. Lovely and soft. Perfectly cooked. Perfectly cooked.
We do like a bit of fish, don't we?
I love it. It's one of them. I was brought up with it from being a kid, so it's what's not to like for me. There's not many fish I don't like. That is really, really nice. Trout is one of them though.
Yes.
I cannot stand trout.
And oysters.
Oysters. Yeah.
That's the only two fish I've ever
Don't mind
done.
cooked oysters, but raw oysters, no.
Yeah, I got them once, didn't I, years and years ago, and you were like, ugh.
Right, so I'm going to try like the full Monty, the prawn, the cabbage, the beans. I'll use the spoon for this one. And prawns are lovely. Just a nice little bite of the prawns, you know. They're cooked. You know, when you bite into them, they've got that little resistance. It's lovely.
That's when you know that they're perfectly cooked. If they're overdone, the mushy. I hate mushy fish.
Well, it's not over spicy at all. From the chorizo. The chorizo is lovely, that spicy chorizo though. That is banging. Absolutely banging. I'm going to sit down and finish the rest of that off whilst we watched some TV, I think. So yeah, give that one a go. It's really, really, really nice. Really tasty, good fire. Ticks most of the boxes for you, like party 5 a day and stuff. Fresh fish, prawns, beans, tomatoes, all good stuff, all good stuff. So once again, thank you very, very much for watching, for liking, subscribing and sharing. I had somebody saying about sharing the other day, that shared it to Pinterest. We really, really appreciate that. We should maybe explore that a bit more with our social medias. We have opened social medias on Facebook, haven't we? But we don't really use them that much.
To be honest, I couldn't get on.
And it's I'm not being funny, but it's hard work.
When you're working full time.
When you're working, then editing, and then it'd be even worse trying to deal with all the social media. But I might have to look into it and see what's what. Maybe
if anybody can help out with that, it would be much appreciated.
Yeah, maybe it's like the TikToks, or we haven't even got TikTok or anything, have we? So I don't know. We'll see. But it's all going to be extra work anyway. So anyway, I'm going to finish that off. Once again, thank you very, very, very much for watching, and we'll catch you guys very, very soon.
It's much appreciated. Thank you very much.
It is. See you soon, guys.
Bye.
Bye for now.